Well, welcome back to another episode of the What's Next podcast. I'm your host, Levi Casada, and again in the studio today, I have my co-host all the way from North County, Nathan Wood. What's up, buddy?
Not much.
Can I give you a little applause there? Woo! Nathan from North County.
Always loved making a day.
Do you like Nathan or Nate?
I grew up with two best friends that were also Nathans, so call me whatever you feel like.
Wood.
A lot of people call me Wood, Woody,
Wood, Little Wood,
Hollywoody.
Not
Hollywoody.
Not Hollywoody?
No,
Oh,
never
right.
had that. But
Well,
yeah, basically anything.
Again, I appreciate you coming to the studio because you bring in the best people. Just want to let you know that right now.
Yeah, I know.
So this is gonna be fun today. So let's just jump right into it because we're running a little behind. Again, I had to cancel on this gentleman, and I'm so glad he rescheduled for the week because he's got a busy week ahead of him. He's leaving town soon. He's doing 75 hard. I don't know how, so we'll get into that. Oh my goodness, this is going to be great. He has over 15 years of experience in the real estate industry. Please welcome Kyle Murphy. What's up? What's up?
I got the hype clap too.
You got the hype clap too. I wasn't gonna give it to Nate, but you know, if I don't give it to Nate, then
He
he
won't
gets
keep coming back.
he won't keep coming back, and he gets a little pouty and everything.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I also meant to say that you have a smile that lights up the room. By the way,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, you got a great smile. I noticed that out there when we were chatting. I was like, he's got a great smile.
Gotta be
Yeah.
happy.
You got to be happy.
Gotta share the happiness.
Yeah. Well, awesome, man. Not your first podcast.
Yeah. I mean, I had one other one with a buddy,
Yeah.
Butts, and yeah, we're stepping up our game. Every time we get better and better, right?
Right, for sure. Well, I hope the experience is good. We're gonna have a great time. We're gonna do something a little different. We did this last season and seasons before, but we've never done it this way. So I found these cards. They're called Would You Rather. Are you ready?
Fair enough.
They're all.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is
All
it?
right.
It's open game, right?
I guess so.
This is just to break the ice.
Yeah.
We're all good. So Nate, go ahead and select a card right there,
That's what
buddy.
these are for. Okay.
That's what those are for.
right.
You can read any one of them. Let's just go. We'll fire them off.
All right, I'll go with the first one. Would you rather always get food stuck in your teeth or occasionally find teeth stuck in your food?
That's a pretty easy one.
I think
Like,
that's-
food in the teeth. I think
Yeah.
nonstop. Yeah.
Food in the
I'll
teeth,
leave
right?
leave the teeth where they are.
I mean, it's occasionally you're finding teeth in your food, so it's just like you're just not eating that meal.
And it's not your teeth, right? I mean, like, I'm not losing teeth every time I cook.
That changes the whole
Yeah.
dynamic of the question.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it
mean,
is. There's a little deep thought here.
Yeah.
What, you know?
But then you'd have PTSD eating anything because you find teeth in your
Someone
food
else's
all the time.
teeth in your that's pretty rough.
I tell you what, if I find a tooth in any food that I eat, I will never eat that food / place again.
Ever again.
And you're right. That I'd get a PTSD about.
I have PTSD on that. My son, of course, my wife goes out to dinner with her girlfriends, like first time leaving dad home with the kid,
Yeah.
chasing the dog, smacks his face, cracks a huge chunk of his tooth off. And you're like, they're baby teeth, like we're good, right? But like the instant thought is like, oh my God, it's never going to go back. So my PTSD, like food in the mouth all the time, like anything with teeth right now, I'm like, don't do it.
Yeah,
Oh,
don't do
yeah.
it. But they do lose it, right? But
Yeah,
you still take them to the dentist,
We went to the dentist. Yeah.
and they
checked
say
out.
they're gonna, or do they cap it or anything?
No. Sometimes they will if it's like root thing. I guess
Yeah.
with the kids, like the biggest thing they said is like it can get, like if it gets lodged, it can get infected. They said it looks like basically like a zit on the gum. If you get that, just pull it. He's like, it's kind of like an injury or anything else. You're like, oh, no one did what I did. And then you start talking to people, like everybody has done it. Like,
Yeah.
and everyone's kid has no teeth. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can write a book on things like this. Like,
Yeah.
there's stuff I could share that you won't. I'll let you
100%.
experience on your own. But,
Totally.
yeah.
Funny
Yeah.
on this topic, actually, my mom's dad used to play pranks on my uncles and my mom all the time during their birthday.
Yeah.
And for my uncle, my mom's oldest brother, they made a cake, but he put dentures in the cake. And so he was like, he went to eat his cake and found teeth in his cake.
So
And
he booked Would You Rather
Yeah,
find
yeah,
teeth in
yeah.
something.
I'm
Okay.
good with
Yeah.
dentures. It's not regular.
Yeah.
No one else's teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be gross for sure.
Yeah. But is it food in your mouth all the time?
Yeah. I
I
wouldn't
don't
want
know
that.
if I could do that either. That's a.
Pretty-
But teeth, you're right. I'd still pick the food. I'd just have to check with people. I'd have to find that one person that would tell me the truth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I know I got
Just
it. So
live with
which one?
like the little floss.
Yep.
At all
Yeah, you
times.
eat and you're just flossing.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, pick one for us, buddy. Let's see. The deep thoughts are at the bottom, I think.
All right.
If you kicking lights over here.
I feel like I went for the bottom one, but it's like that's kind of a little easy as well.
Is that one's easy? You can always pick a new one.
Yeah, read it aloud.
All right. All right. Would you rather spend every weekend indoors or spend every weekend outdoors?
You know what? I feel like right now I'm spending every weekend indoors because there's a silly rain in San Diego. What's going on, SD?
Right.
Right?
Yeah, I'm for sure outdoors.
Outdoors for sure.
Yeah.
If I can.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think that's why it's so easy.
Yeah,
I was
super,
like,
super easy.
no question.
Well, it's an easy one just because we live in the best, finest city out there, right?
Yeah.
Where
That's
outdoor living is possible.
You got to go, you're in the Arctic. You got to spend
Yeah.
every day outdoors.
Yeah. You're not spending it there. No. All right, Nate, pass me one. Or pass Jessica. We got Jessica Burkholder, by the way, in the studio as well. Let's give her a little applause. Yeah, there's Jessica. Ah. All right. I'm going to make you read it. Can you see?
I need glasses.
You need glasses? Oh, no.
Or light would help.
Let me just put a light on it.
All right, last one here, and then little icebreaker here. Anything good? She can't read. It's okay. She does escrow really well,
It's true.
but reading the questions.
No, they're kind of all lame.
You
Should we
want
get a new one?
card?
Get a new card.
Yeah. I mean, would you rather pay full price for clothes or pay full price for drinks? That's pretty
Ooh, that's not bad. Would you rather pay full price for clothes or full price for drinks?
I never get new clothes, so
I don't think anybody pays full price for clothes these days,
no, definitely not.
right? The internet has changed everything.
Oh yeah, you can always find something. Oh, and I got an older brother, so I get hand-me-downs.
Yeah.
It's technically, what is full price? I guess the discount price is kind of the full price now, right?
For sure, right?
I don't know.
I'm an Instagram finder. Give me the
Right?
15% discount and move on.
Oh, yeah,
Like, are
totally.
you guys like that too?
Not really.
You don't buy new clothes.
No.
We guys don't buy
I
new clothes.
don't buy new clothes.
Better one or no?
It's an icebreaker. It's supposed to be.
Yeah, they're supposed to be silly.
She's
Okay,
used to
would
the
you
Cards
rather
Against
marry
Humanity.
somebody that thinks everything can be cured with a positive attitude or with homeopathic medicine?
All right. Would you rather marry somebody that thinks that they can? Let me read that one. That you can. What does it say? Marry someone that thinks everything can be cured with a positive attitude or with a homeopathic medicine.
Isn't that like the same person? I feel like those
I
kind
feel
of go hand in
yeah.
hand.
That's you. If you're that person, right? That's what you kind of
kinda
feel
where
like. It's
you're-
like a smile will
think so.
bring.
I'd say give me the person that has the home. They think they have the home remedies because maybe they're right on a few things.
Right.
It'd give me that placebo effect, if anything.
Yeah.
A positive attitude. I'd be like, okay, cool story. Yeah, I got a
Yeah.
fever.
I got a fever.
This sucks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want to just being like smiling at your.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, my arm is broken.
But I got a good attitude.
I got a
about
great
it.
I
attitude.
don't know,
You're so
some of that
positive.
homeopathic stuff though, like
Uh,
here, drink this, like root, whatever.
Hey, yeah, here's some wheatgrass. It'll cure your cancer.
Yeah, maybe.
It's true.
Either way, you know what though? I'll have to say after. Let's go. We're getting off tangent here, but COVID. You guys all have COVID, by the way.
Several times, yeah.
Yeah. Ground zero over here.
Yeah.
Um,
I was the monkey.
yeah. The reason I'm bringing this up is because I got COVID, and I remember being like separated from my family for
Yeah.
like 3 or 4 days, and I was thinking this is gonna be great. I got my room to myself, food and
Right.
everything. Probably went like the 4th day in. I was like, I need a hug.
Yeah, seriously.
You know what I'm saying? I need that positive reinforcement because you sit in that dark room by yourself watching TV over and over. It just gets
Lonely.
it gets lonely.
Yeah.
I can definitely see how a positive attitude can change and help your
Totally.
day.
I got to that like 4th day, and my wife's like, "Oh, congratulations, you gave it to our son," who in turn gave it to her on like
See,
the 6th
she
day.
congratulated you. So it was a
yeah.
very positive attitude for
Yeah.
her.
Yeah,
I
Yeah,
definitely
yeah.
feel like it never hit us all at once. It was always my wife, and then our kids, and then me.
yeah.
And so it was like just weeks of someone
yeah,
being sick.
it always it just carries like that.
Yeah, brutal.
Yeah.
Well, I love it. Well, I'm glad we kicked off with a little bit of icebreaker, but let's get to the meat, Kyle. Are you
Sweet.
ready for this? This is all about
I don't
you
know.
today.
I'm on the spot. Let's
You're
do
on the
this.
spot. It's not, no wrong answers.
All right.
It's all about you. So tell me, you're a second generation native to San Diego.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Where'd you grow up?
Encinitas. So,
Encinitas.
Yeah. Went to Capri Elementary, Dieguito Middle, La Costa Canyon. Transferred to Torrey Pines my last 2 years and graduated from there. But pretty much, besides the year and a half, 2 years, I was in Del Mar, Encinitas.
No, you're still in Encinitas, right?
Yeah.
Okay. What are the big changes from from your childhood to now up in that
It's
area?
a completely different place.
Really?
I mean, yes and no. I mean, development is, there's a hot button on every corner if you want to, with the way it's growing and development and all of that. But, it was definitely, everyone calls it Sleepy Beach Town. Like, it was a sleepy beach town when we were kids. I mean, I remember being 10, 11 years old and we're out like running around with our buddies, going to the beach and running the streets, and it's later than we should probably be out there. Like, I wouldn't let my son do that now.
Really?
Given a different day and age, but like it was just everybody knew everybody. And so it's just grown like a lot. The secrets out.
I feel like it was like back when we lived.
Yeah.
Like when we were young, it was a small town feel. Like it felt like a kind of a rural small town on the beach. And now you can't say that at all. Like for instance, you remember Olio's, the pizza shop?
Yeah.
So my dad and uncle and me and my brother would go to Olio's.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, or if it was a thing or if it was just for me and my brother, but they would always give us this massive thing, a massive thing of pizza dough, uncooked, and my brother. And
to do what with it?
I'll get there.
Okay. I'm just intrigued. I'm like, why would they do that?
Probably one of my most fun childhood memories. On the way home to Carlsbad, my uncle and my dad lived right by the power plant. My uncle was in his little Porsche, and my dad was in his 4Runner, and either my brother or I were in either one of their cars, and we would have dough fights on the 101 all the way back home, just chucking dough at each other.
That's right.
And it was some of the most fun. Now you can't do that. You get pulled over in a heartbeat.
Oh, yeah, you're on camera. Well, I was going to say, like you just said it. You would not let your son or your kid grow up now doing what you did back then because you used to run the streets.
Totally.
But why? What has changed? I mean, because we have that technology that we can actually get. Remember, our parents couldn't get a hold of us. That was scarier to do that back then. But like now that we have the technology and we can stay on top of our kids, why are we so scared to do it?
It's probably because they couldn't get a hold of us. Like, come home. Like, I didn't know. Like,
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think it's just busier, and it's like
busier.
Just
yeah,
watching everything, like cars, and not that it's any less safe now than it was then, but it's just it's just different.
Yeah,
I think. And I don't know, whatever. Getting older, you're like technology, whatever. It's like now everyone's in their phone, and the streets,
that's what's scary is because people they're on their phone, they're oblivious to it,
and like I don't know. Obviously, we were in the moment, and we think as kids we know way more than we do.
Right.
But we're like, the street smarts were maybe a little bit higher now that we don't like train that as much, right? Like it's not out there, and because we don't let our kids do that, so we've kind of already trained our kids to not be able to fend for themselves as much. But yeah, I mean, we would ride bikes to my buddy's house up like basically where the golf course is now, and it was, or like, going to Moonlight, and then my buddy, like my best friend's dad owned Papa Gus back in the day, which turned into Mosey's and all of that. It was like, we're rolling back from the beach with like 10 guys and going to we couldn't drive. Like it was probably well before we could drive. So we were probably like 10 or 11 years old, just like rummaging around. And I think it's just different.
I definitely feel like you're onto something with like, when we were younger, you had to be so self-reliant. You had to figure out or know how to get places. And now kids,
you knew the streets. You knew where your house was.
Right. You knew your home phone number. Like you didn't have to rely on a little device to get you everywhere.
Totally.
And coupled with that, probably for us now, like now that we have a phone and we see all this kind of stuff, maybe it's made us more worrywarts. So we
100%.
worry a lot more.
And I think that's probably is like, you don't know what you don't know, right? And so back then our parents were like, hey, we're here, we did this, it's cool. Now you like everywhere you turn around, it's like media. Like you see so many bad things, and it's always front of mind, where back then it wasn't
Right.
as accessible.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. It's crazy.
And if our parents knew what we were doing, they're probably
Yeah, they
Well,
would never let us.
have you ever gone back and asked your parents what they did? Like, I remember
Oh,
confessing to my dad, I'm like, I don't know if I should say this, but everybody drinks a little inebriated when they're in
Yeah.
college and stuff like that.
Totally.
And he was like, I finally told him, because that was before Uber or anything like that.
Yeah.
You just had to get home. You found, it was like you get your group of buddies and you're like, which one is drank less? You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
it's kind of, please
who's
don't do
walking
that.
the straight line.
Yeah, who's walking the straightest line? But I asked him, and he was like, "You don't even want to know. It was way worse back then than what because you hide it from your parents." But,
Totally.
But now, yeah, I can't imagine.
I don't even know how our parents took us to a restaurant without an iPad or something to distract. Like if
It's wild.
we really try to not put screens in front of our kids.
Yeah.
And about 10 minutes into a date night with me and my wife, we're just like, give them a show or something, pass them to the table next to us. Like, how do we survive this?
Well, if I stepped out of line, I remember I get the little pinch behind the arm,
Oh, yeah.
and I'd start tearing up, and my mom would be like, "What'd you do to him?" He's like, "It's taken care of. We're all good." And I would just sit there. I'm like, I ain't moving now.
Hey,
He's
not
quiet
that-
You know? Yeah. We just had a better way of
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
dealing with it. Yeah. Well, so you grew up in a nice little small town.
Yeah.
Did you surf
Yeah.
growing up?
Yeah. So surfed pretty much from the time I mean, childhood was blessed, right? We grew up. My dad lived west of 101, like right at Beacons, and so like all my best friends lived around there or were like associated with that area some way, shape, or form. So yeah, I mean, summer it was you got out of school and you didn't leave the beach until you had to go back to school in August, September, whenever that was. And so yeah, we surfed every day.
Yeah.
As much as possible.
I feel like North County kind of breeds that, like other kids learned how to ride a bike. Like we learned how to ride a bike and surf at the same time.
Yeah, that's incredible. What is some of what has that influenced anything like growing up in your life? Like, is there's something to surfing? I'm not from this town, so like surfing to me is just more like it's peaceful to me when I go out there. Mm-hmm. You guys go out there to be a little bit more like do it and not showy, but right? I mean, but is there like some that you still practice today? Do you still surf today?
Yeah, I mean, period. When I can.
When you can. No, I know. Busy life. I know. Life gets in the way, but I don't know if you guys are trying to get what I'm saying, but like, is there something that was out there when you were a kid that just really grounded you to the ocean?
I mean, quite literally, we go back on that question of homeopathic.
Yeah.
There's people that'll sit next to a little salt lamp just to feel calm. Yeah. But you're immersed in salt water and you're grounded and you feel good. And I mean, my brain, I'm very sporadic, ADD probably some would say. But when you're out surfing, it's like that's all you're focused on. And so it felt very good to be in the moment. You're surfing, you got a wave coming. Like that's all your brain is thinking about at the moment. And for me, it just felt nice to not have to think about anything else.
Yeah, totally. I think it's being able to get in the water, get away. Like they haven't figured out how to make a waterproof phone yet. So like technology, our industry, like you just can't get away from it, right? And so being able to do that, and there's something really cool about it. You know, I think as you get older, you become the older grouchy.
Do you? That's what I said. So you kind of that's also changed.
It's not good. I was talking to a buddy a couple days ago, and I was like, I pretty much don't surf until it's like 6 foot, and then I'm like, damn, I should have surfed before it was big.
Yeah.
And then and then surf trips and stuff like that. But yeah, I think just being in the ocean, surfing, I chose to go to University of Hawaii instead.
I was going to say, you went to Hawaii. How was that experience for you coming out of a nice small town here?
Yeah.
And then getting out and exploring a whole different
I think
island.
That comes back to like the cool thing about Encinitas in general and as it was, and my buddy that I went out there with, and a lot of connections because there's like such a surf mecca around here, and the industry is here a lot. So we knew a lot of guys or had relationships with people that knew people, and going out there, it was really cool. It was the same. Like when you get to the North Shore, it's like, it's Encinitas, really. It's like, especially back then, it was very country, very laid back. Everybody knew, and there was always like a joke that was kind of like, hey, if you're from California, you're like, all right. If you're from San Diego, like you're a little bit cooler. If you're from Encinitas, like you're kind of family. Like it's just, there was that much connection back and forth with a lot of those guys. So it was cool getting to experience that. I think in surfing with the relationships that were through my buddy and other people, we got to surf a lot of places and do a lot of things that we probably wouldn't have if we were just coming in not knowing anybody. And everybody was super cool. Everybody I talk to now is like, oh, localism and everyone in Hawaii. I was like, every experience I had was like true aloha. Like everyone was super cool. Like a lot of that could have been from just the people that we knew and where we are. But I think it comes with life. You get out what you put in, right? And so if you go in and are backpedaling people and super aggressive and think you rip, like you don't, it's not your break. They're going to tell you what's up. Like go in humble, take your turns, take the scraps when you can. People are normally really cool about it. Yeah. And so, I think that was, everyone's like, oh, so, but I mean, most of the people that I have friends or most people that say that are like, I'm in Hawaii for a week. Like I only have a week to get the wave of my life or the waves that I need. And, we lived there. It was awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Now, do you take that into life too? Because that sounded like a kind of a life-like experience. Like, hey, be humble, take what you can get sometime. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's a part of it like grinding hard to get what you get, obviously. But there's also times to be, especially in this industry.
Totally.
You have to humble yourself sometimes in this industry.
100%.
Some of those people that don't, and we'll go further in the industry, but I like to know it. Yeah.
I mean, I think it's forever a work in progress. We're always like ups and downs and this and that and ebbs and flows. And I think it's kind of the same thing we were talking about technology before, right? Of like, now everyone's in your technology. Maybe you're not as street smarts, or maybe all the information is like readily available. And you're like, I mean, you can go down a rabbit hole and terrify yourself to never leave your house, right? It's all there.
Yeah.
Same thing, social media wise, watching everything that everybody's posting and all of that. You could do one of two things. You can take it and be like, I'm great and I'm better, or like, wow, I suck. Like, it's all a mindset thing. Yeah. And I know we'll kind of talk about that at some point, but that's really like a lot of what it's like top of mind right now. That's why I kind of lead that way, because of everything that I'm doing to go along with it. So, I think really like living humble, like just being in the moment is like a hard thing to do. And
across the board for everybody.
So, you're right. And so I'm like, okay, like that's where I want to be. That's what I want to do. So, it's just, it takes work. It's easier to go the other route.
Yeah, for sure. So you're in Hawaii, you're finishing up school. You got your master's in business
marketing.
Business marketing. Yeah. What
draws you back?
What draws you back to coming out of Hawaii? It's like you live in two beautiful places. Totally. What draws you back, and like why?
That comes back to the mindset thing, right? I think when I was in Hawaii, you realize how amazing San Diego is, and you're like, you don't appreciate what you have in the moment, right? And you're like, oh, Hawaii's cool, like it's great. And
Did you get island fever over there?
I didn't.
Okay.
Like never felt it. Like I felt really comfortable, like everything. I mean, I think probably that's me.
That's okay.
I think probably 50% of our freshman class was gone by end of first semester.
No way.
Wait, joke. Why?
It's everyone gets island fever. Like everybody doesn't dig it. And so it's just a different lifestyle. And so basically being there, it was rad, but I think the plan was always, my mom has been doing this since 85, 86. Like kind of the idea was to get back into real estate and do that. If I would have seen a route or done something in Hawaii where it was like, oh, I should have done this and I could have done that. And it maybe stayed, but I think at that time I had a lot of my buddies that were living there that maybe weren't still in school or doing stuff. It's like they're working 2-3 jobs just to afford to live there. And I mean, cost of living has gotten even crazier since then. And you're like, I live in a beautiful, amazing place that I want to surf, and I'm working 3 jobs to survive and to be able to live. And it was just, I didn't see a direct route to being able to like live a comfortable life. I think we could have done it for a few years, but it was also 2008, and it's like no one's hiring.
That was so true. Like, a lot of my friends, we all
Yeah.
got out of college around a little earlier than that, but it was, I mean, jobs at UPS. I mean, these guys had
Totally.
like degrees, and they're like working at UPS in the morning, working at Costco in the afternoon, and then
A bartender somewhere.
a bartender,
Yeah, yeah,
and just waiting for their opportunity. Like, I have a friend that's a DEA agent. I won't say his name, but it's just like it took him forever to finally get into the DEA, but he had 2 to 3 jobs at one time. It's like, damn, like you're right.
Totally.
Around that time, nobody was hiring.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like for me. My whole family is in the real estate industry, and I got started as an asset manager for Fannie Mae, and at the same time, I was going to fire school and night school to try to become a firefighter.
With that mustache, you could definitely
Nailed
we'll
it.
zoom in on that,
Should've
but
kept
you
going.
could definitely became a firefighter.
Yeah, I wanted to be a smoke jumper, which is the guys that
sick.
jump out of
Yeah,
planes or helicopters.
Yeah,
into
into like a
fires.
forest fires. My uncle was I think they were hot shots at one point
Yeah.
too. Yeah.
I thought that would be so rad, and so I went to school, Palomar Fire. I didn't go to the academy because that was like a full-time thing, and I couldn't quit my job. I still had to afford to live. And it was right in 2007 and 2009. We had people coming back from Iraq, which were way more qualified to be firefighters.
Totally.
So I just realized that, I kind of gave up, to be honest. I didn't want to go through paramedic school. It was way too much. And come to think of it, like hindsight's 2020, I've got asthma and I'm scared of heights now. So it would have been
It's a little rough for that job.
terrible
Yeah,
position
yeah.
for me to take. So
That-
everything happened for a reason.
Well, it's funny you say that, and I want to, we'll go back to this because I want people to know out there this career in this industry, because we talked about this in another podcast. It's not a fallback by no means. We hustle. I mean, you're in the escrow company now. Real estate agents, they hustle. It's not everything. I feel like like we talked about again, social media blows out proportion. You see what people are making and doing and stuff, but you don't really see the hard work that they're putting into.
Totally.
So you watched your mom
Yeah.
bust her butt for
Brutal.
probably how many years? And then you decided to join in 2008.
Yeah, I don't know. That was like a weird process.
That was a weird time, but you're okay. So explain, like you're decide like, hey mom, coming back.
Yeah. I think it's interesting. Like I think in the industry, and we see it all the time, you're either like, if you're a kid of an agent, you're either like drawn to it or you run as far away from it as you possibly can.
Right.
And I've always been into houses. I've always been into like fixing stuff, and my dad was like the guy that's like, oh, you're gonna hang out and play video games, like go in the backyard and dig a ditch. Like,
same.
like just
Right?
go do something, right? So so that's like always just been of interest. And then coming back, it was 2008, not a lot of jobs, not a lot of stuff going on. I'm like, dabble in it, like let's see how it goes, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And so kind of did a little bit, played around with it for a while, and then probably like 3-4 years in, I was like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this, like I like it, I enjoy helping people. It's, I think with this industry, if you're super successful in it, or you're good at what you do, it's because you care about people and you want to see them succeed. It's not really like it's not a money thing. I know that's a lot of what our industry is portrayed as, but yes, we do make good money, but there's a lot that goes into that. And the numbers you see on the screen on those shows is divvied up 50 ways before you get it. Right. Yeah. And so, if you're really going to be good in this industry, you're not doing it because of the money. Yeah. You're doing it because you have passion for people and helping them and all of that. And so I was like, oh, this is cool. Like, but my mom's business like was comfortable. She'd do, anywhere from like 10 to 17 million a year. It really worked for her.
Was she on a team or was it just her by
just
herself?
Her solo.
Okay, cool.
And so kind of jumping into it, I was like, okay, well, two of us, 10 to 17 million a year, like it's not going to work.
Yeah,
like,
right.
Or also to live in Encinitas and like raise a family and like whatever. I was like, this has got to step up. If I'm coming in, like I need to come in. So started doing some coaching stuff, kind of took over the lead role, got out there, and then just have, done everything I can to run with it from there.
Yeah. Elaborate a little bit more on the coaching stuff. You were coaching other agents? Or?
No. I signed up for the Tom Ferry stuff for a while.
Okay.
I did Buffini for a while. Just basically for like a couple years, it was like anything I could get a hands on.
Yeah.
Right? Like obviously, like maybe personality wise, 75 hard running. It's like find something, run with it, get like super hyper focused on it. And that was a little bit of that time was like, hey, if I'm going to do this, I better be really good at this.
Yeah.
And so that time was like, hey, I'm going to absorb everything I can. And then that was right about, I don't remember exactly the year, but that was right where like a lot of the coaching, and I'm not knocking coaching at all, but it became a little bit more salesy.
For sure.
And it was like, hey, sign up for us and do this and do that. And so I was like, okay, I got what I needed out of this for the 2 years I was doing it. I know where I'm at. Like the other things are implemented, and you can, Buffini is obviously like very structured. Like you've got your A's, your B's, you take these people, you do pop buys. Tom Ferry's a little bit more like, spaghetti routes. Throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and see what sticks, right? Not that any of it's bad, but it's like, let's be a little bit more how your personality works, whatever. And so I was like, okay, like it was good to see the two. How do you take the positives from everything and like put it into execute?
Yeah, that's very cool. Because you're right. Coaching is not to knock coaching or anything, but you're right. It's what you put into
Totally.
that you get out of it.
Yeah.
For sure. You go, I mean, I've never been to those, but I've heard like people, and they do some stuff in our clubhouse and whatnot. But yeah, people need to hear that sometimes a different way.
Yeah.
Like you said, there's two different ways. There's out there in the real estate, there's a lot of different ways that you can hear coaching.
Yeah. And I think a lot of the agents in my office, like my mom included, are like, hey, like you really developed and like took a lot out of it. So it's like, I think it's great. Like it's awesome. If you're doing it, honing your craft, like coaching is great. It ran its course for me.
Now you did that somewhat early on after you finally committed, because you said about 3 and then you're like, okay, if I'm going to go into this, I'm going to be like
year 4 or 5. I don't know. So that would be like 2012.
Yeah. Would you recommend that to newer agents who are getting into this field right away to do it sooner than later?
Yeah. I mean, if you're coming in, mine was different because I came in with my mom. So there was like a level of clientele and I could learn on the fly. And I was in 2008 and it was like nothing going on. So we had plenty of time to like learn the business. And that was like, I was like the TC and the marketing guy and all of that stuff. So I learned that element of the business. And it's kind of like, I think if you don't have that foundation, a lot of times you like jump in and you're, right now, especially, like it's transaction. Like if you're a newer agent, you could jump in very quickly and through resources, friends, family, probably find 5 transactions. But then after you're done, you're like, oh, this is easy. And then you sit back year 2 and you're like, wait, it's not that easy.
All my referrals are tapped out. All the ones that were warm referrals, now it's like, what do you do?
Totally. And so I think like having that, and I think for me personally, and know the contract inside and out, like know how everything works, how to use it to help your clients succeed and all of that, because it's easy to write a contract. It's easy to write offers and do that side of it. But if you really know how to use it properly in the way to protect your clients or how it should be done, like then you're really helping your clients and you can do it the right way.
Right.
I mean, just putting an offer together and throwing it in, like our industry will be replaced by AI in no time, right? Like that's why I think real estate isn't going anywhere. Like biggest asset, everybody wants to feel someone has their back, and that's why they use us and need us, is to show them where the pitfalls are. If you just go, it's like the self-checkout. When it breaks, you're just sitting there like, what am I doing? I don't know how to get out of this.
I need help.
Well, it's funny too, because if you talk to AI, you go in the chat GPTs and Bard and stuff like that, you're going to get a very generic answer.
Totally.
What you prompt and put in there, right? So if you ask a question, if you're going to ask, if we were ever replaced by AI, and you ask a certain thing, like you're not going to get the answer you want tailored to you. You're going to get some robot that just is going to tailor to the one, like everybody. Yeah. Right. Just like medicine.
Yeah.
Like if you, I'm just saying this because my daughter has a thing and lung disease, but she goes to clinic 3 times a month and they don't, and she has a different mutation than other CF kids.
Yeah.
But they don't tailor it to her.
Oh.
They tailor it to the whole population of CF. So you get in there, you get drilled by all these people like, are you doing this medicine? Are you doing this medicine? Like, we are doing nothing. She's taking the pills that she needs, and she is like killing it. Like her health is amazing. So why are we not tailoring it back? And same thing with AI. AI is just going to be like,
take it all.
Here's your answer.
Yeah.
You're going to like it or you're going to like it.
Yeah.
Because you cannot like it.
Totally.
But it's nice to have people like you and other real estate agents because you can look at their personality and give them the response that you know they're going to need to hear.
Totally.
Right?
I mean, I know it's like a joke in the industry and everyone's like, oh, you're a therapist. It's like, no, but you are. Like, you ride that roller coaster with your clients every day. Like,
for sure.
Every day. And that, I mean, that's a little bit of like what I've gotten myself into is like, I was on the roller coaster. Like, I'm coming home, my wife's like, oh, that's how it went today, right? Like, I'm like, okay, like at some point you got to get off the roller coaster, but like, you just care about your people.
Yeah,
like,
you're
that's why they,
invested in them.
yeah, that's why they.
You don't have a 9 to 5 to leave it at an office later. You're still thinking about the husband's, wants his barbecue in the back. So you're like, oh, I got to find this house that needs a barbecue or, or some
maybe
yard or,
it's a divorce. Their family's having a divorce and you're having to sell their house and there's so many different dynamics and you're talking to the husband and then the wife and there's so many different things that you have to think about. Or it's a trust sale and you've got the family of the, the heirs and
totally.
Yeah, there's so many different hats that I feel realtors have to wear that people don't really understand how much goes into the job.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it's the same, and I get it because you have to do what's right for your family, right? But like, you work with clients for 6 months, a year, you're doing everything you can to scramble, and then they're like, oh, I bought a house. You're like, wait, what? Like, it happens, and that's great for them. But like, in the moment, you're like, dude, we went through all of this together, and we like rode all these waves, and we didn't, a little bit, you're like, oh, I failed because I didn't see it through with you. Or like, as you were saying, the alternative of like a family member died, and it's like, you got to do it the right way, right? You have to, like, people are making decisions in the moment and hurt or whatever else. And you're like, okay, well, that's awesome. But like, maybe we should wait like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like, tell me you still feel the same tomorrow, right?
Exactly.
And,
like AI dialing you up right after you lose a loved one and being like, so what are you doing with your house today? Like, this is so-and-so with AI. Yeah. You're like, no, that's a
bad move.
It's a bad move.
100%. Yeah. And I think it's, that comes back to obviously the main thing in the news right now is commissions and whatever, all that NAR stuff and all that. But it's like, it's big, like having someone to represent you and look out for your interest, whether you're on the sell side or the buy side, is huge. It's important to have, like, because you're going to make decisions. And I was having the conversation the other day with a friend about it, and they were kind of asking me, and I was like, I don't, a lot of times, especially in a multiple offer situation, like, want to be representing both sides. Like, it puts you in such a bad situation, and how am I supposed to maximize my number for my people if like I have something to gain by getting this person the property? It's like it puts you in a weird predicament.
It does, yeah.
And I think that if you have to be able to really put yourself in the shoes of your client and care about them to do the right thing and advise them the right way.
Right.
And there's a lot of agents out there that will take advantage of that and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to double end this all day long.
Oh yeah. Like, turn on TikTok or Instagram right now. It's all, I mean, not necessarily, I don't think that's necessarily as much in the agent space, but they're in the investing space. Like, they're there to make deals. They want deals. So agents a lot of times crush deals. Like, it's like, if you're getting a good buy and you're stealing it, and then they go like, oh, this agent calls them up and it's like, oh, you could get $200,000 more for your house. It's like, that deal's not on the table anymore. So, I think the investing element, getting a buyer's agent out of the way, maybe isn't a terribly bad idea.
That's right. Do you work with a lot of sellers or buyers, or how? Okay, so
it's like 50-50.
50-50. Yeah, it's kind of like most, especially if you're independent, you're not on a big team like that. What is the dynamic? Because this is interesting. I don't know if I could ever work with my mom. That's why I ask. There's a lot of people out there probably the same way. I don't know if I could work with my wife.
Right.
But what is the dynamic with your mom?
So, I mean, she was obviously jefe for a long time.
Yeah,
and then it's probably been 10 years or so that I kind of took over. So she's probably more towards the retirement phase at this point. The idea with me coming in was she had built something, there was a clientele, there was something there, and then try to alleviate that a little bit so that she can take more vacation time, spend more time with my stepdad, do things she wants to do, right? She loves to work, so she's
That's tough for her.
a lot more and letting it go. But now she's more into, she's like an assistant role type. She does all of her marketing. She keeps her books, her files. Like she's, pretty much like, hey, I need X, Y, and Z. I'm on the road. I got to go see this person. I got to see that. Like I'm kind of out there face. Technically, I'm the running of the business, but she's still mom and boss. So
she always will be mom, right, Janet? You're out there.
When she puts her foot down, it tends to. We'll see. But she definitely wins more of the disagreements, I think, than I do.
Well, that's good. You need that dynamic.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I love that she's passing it on.
Yeah.
To you.
Absolutely.
So you is there an end game for real estate agents? Like
used to be.
Just to be like, when do I retire? When do I tell all my clients, like, I'm not coming back? Like, who do you buy? Who do you sell your business to? You know what I'm saying? So it's great to have.
It's hard to, that's a dynamic that we're kind of looking into because it seems like there's an aging population in real estate and a young. There's like not a lot of middle ground.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so, figuring out how, and I think technology and access to information and all of that, like you used to be able to sell a database in a business and have someone like succession plan. Like it's very difficult to do that because your database, yes, you are the one with those relationships. Someone else coming in isn't necessarily going to be able to like take those over the same way.
Right.
And accessibility to information, like why is someone going to pay you for your contacts that they don't have the relationship with when they can just use Intellis or whatever other site they want to use to get their information anyways. So unless you have like a large business, you can hand it off to a team and kind of step back. That those single agents that crushed it for years, there's not a lot you can do. And a lot of them either just shut it down or just
pass it on, to referral
or
fees.
just work way longer than they should or have to.
Like my Nana, who's 91 years old and still selling listings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. So,
good for Nana.
Right? Good for Nana.
But yeah, I think there is a way of partnerships and succession plans and things that can go very, very smoothly.
Yeah.
And, whether it be referral programs and things like that, there's a cleaner way to do it that is not being done. But I think that's maybe us as real estate agents. We think we can do it all the best and we don't want to let our people go. So, a lot of times we can, it's just where you are in life.
Well, and like you were saying, like it's such a relationship business, and your mom had built that relationship with so many of her past clients, even before you got into the industry.
Totally.
And, you have these agents that have been around for a long time and their business turns into this machine where you've got referrals of people that you've been working with for years and years and years that won't let you retire because they see you as
I want you.
You're the
totally.
resource. You are the expert in the field. And so, it's a great question for sure.
Yeah. But, and I love this industry because you do have, you do and you don't. You have to grind. You have to, we talked about like the commissions that you get is amazing. However, you break that down to hourly of like all the stuff, all the the gas you use to do everything. It's not as big as you think. Again, you're unemployed after one sale. You're employed until your next sale. Like it's pretty crazy. But the flexibility is great. So you don't have to retire at a certain age. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Which is nice in this industry. You can still kind of.
And if you have a steady clientele and you want to do it, then you just tone it back to what you want.
Yeah.
Right.
And you've seen it change. Technology has helped this business, correct? Do you feel like that's
absolutely
since from 2008 when there was probably no technology really out there to now?
Yeah, I think it's we were a joke on that this morning. We had office meeting this morning, and the agent in our office that was running it was like, here's like the forums of your friends, figure them out. And then she was like, yeah, and like when you're going over with your clients, she's like, never mind, you don't even see your clients, you just DocuSign it to them. And it's like a lot of that is the industry, and I think personally, it's amazing, but I want to pull that back a little bit because it is our job to advise them. So it's like, you know, you have to literally walk them through the contract, and maybe on that like 4th, 5th, 6th offer, like you're still bullet pointing. And I think the changes to the contract, front loading everything has helped kind of make it more where you don't have to be like on page 13 on this number, like it's all right there pretty quickly. But it does eat. I mean, when you're up against it, especially the fast pace that we're moving is like, hey, a house comes on Friday and you see it on Saturday, and Sunday evening we're looking at offers and there's 12 of them and you got to go.
Yeah.
Like we can write that DocuSign it, get it in from literally anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
And
that's huge.
Like for us and for the clients, like, hey, my client just got on a plane to Bali. Like he's going to land, DocuSign, and I'll get it in. Or we just did a deal in the Costa Greens. And I mean, literally the guy got the day we went into escrow, the second day he got on a plane to Africa and got back the day before we closed.
Yeah.
Maybe the day we closed. Right. And so he like literally on the way to the airport notarizing his grant deed, and then like shows back up and his house was closed. Like you couldn't.
That's amazing.
You couldn't do that.
Was that an easy transaction?
It actually was really easy. I mean, we had really the buyers are really cool. The seller was really cool. Like good agents on both sides.
Yeah.
Like I think real estate's easy. Like it really is an easy process. I think agents and clients make it difficult. Like we get in our own ways. Like whether that be, you know, the client has the right to do that. I think sometimes we get on our soapbox and want to like win. And yes, we always want to win for our clients, but not at the, you know, not to make it a terrible process.
Well, not to make it about yourself.
Totally.
Right? It's not about you. It's about the client. It's not about the paycheck. It's about, like you said, you should be in this business because you love helping people
100%
on their biggest purchase of their life.
Yeah.
Whether you get anything out of it afterwards, but I'm saying like you should be happy for them.
Totally.
To, you know,
100%.
To get what they like and to build their wealth and keep getting the business back and whatnot. That's okay. So you were just talking about go. You're a new father, I would say. I mean, 2 years.
Still learning. It was very new.
I'm just going to say this. COVID baby. Not a baby, but
slightly after COVID.
Well, I know you had him after COVID, but it was kind of like
COVID baby. It was
kind
21,
of
so
kind of lockdown.
He's 3, right?
Two, almost 2.5.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so he was born 21.
Yep.
So yeah, it would have been a COVID baby.
Yeah. So how has that impacted your professional life and career with you and your wife, with having a 2-year-old?
It's so gnarly.
Isn't it?
I mean, it is and it isn't, right? My wife is amazing in like maintaining the household, maintaining me, like keeping our child, like she's an amazing mom. Like I don't think the kid does, keeping the kid alive. Like he didn't have sugar till he was like 2 years old. Like everything she makes.
Not even on his first birthday, like, with the cake or anything?
It was like natural, like she made the cake, like so that he didn't have sugar.
Homeopathic right there.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And so like with all of that, it helps alleviate a lot.
Yeah.
But also wanting to be present in his life and around and not just working is also really difficult. So we're finding our ways, like getting there. And then, you know, my wife, we were thankful and lucky enough that she could hang with him for about 1.5 years, and work with all that. Then she had to go back to work. And so now balancing that and getting him in school. And it's like, it's weird when there's like a shot clock on the day. It could be 8 a.m. and you don't have your shot clock's 4:45 and you're already stressing about missing the window.
I feel like parenting is such a balance between I need a break, I'm going to go to work, or I'm at work and I need to be home because I'm missing out on something. And
totally.
It's like,
100%.
Where do you find that balance? Like I need to get away, or I miss my son. Yeah.
And I think it's such a weird balance to figure it out. And a lot of like my stuff in this year and where I was like looking back, looking forward, not present in the moment. And it's a work in progress every day. Right. But like I'm coming home and my wife's like, hey, like over here. Hi, how are you? And I'm like still, and like even last night, like we have a lot going on right now with projects to get ready for the market. She's like, hey, like, hi, we're here. And so it's so difficult to turn that switch to like
to get back to
family,
to present.
Totally.
Well, I mean, you're running a business, and that's what a lot of people. I have a lot of friends that work in the restaurant industry or work a normal job, and they're like, oh, I'm going to get my real estate license so I can control my hours. And I'm always, it's like such a head scratcher. I'm like, control your hours? What do you mean? Like this job is, it's every job you could imagine. You're marketing just to find a lead.
Totally.
And then you have to work those leads just to convert them. And then that's not even any of it. You got to get them into contract and then, make sure they're safe through that entire, there's so much that goes on.
And still find new business, because that person, like I said, you're unemployed. You can't just stop there and just give you want to give everybody the same, like, I'm here for you. But if you want to make it in this industry and you want to provide for your family and have that security and income and flexibility more 5 years from now, not right when you start, you got to grind.
You got to be making that process with at least 3 people every single month so that you have that rotation.
Totally.
Yeah.
And like, you got to be able to do all of that stuff, find new business, not forget the ones in the middle.
Be their psychiatrist, talk people through stuff. I mean, it's crazy.
Totally. And you're really, to afford a house where we live and what we do, yes, they're great numbers, but we're looking at one right now, $1.2 million loan amount. Like, your carry cost is $11,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Like, you're dealing with extremely successful, like, very, very hardworking people. So, that's great that you're in your real estate 9 to 5, but your 9 to 5 client is like hustling and doesn't have the time to have that conversation till 6 p.m.
Right.
And so it's like, you can't be like, yes, a lot of people are really cool, and we deal with amazing people a lot of times. Yes, there's the tough ones, but most people are like understanding of like, hey, I get you have a family. Can I call you here? Can I do that? But you're on their time. Like, it's still a service industry. Right. You can't just like shut it down. Like, sorry, I turned my phone off at 5.
Sorry,
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
I like my weekends off. No, that's the busiest time,
Totally.
And on what you just said, I wonder if that kind of goes back to like, Encinitas was a small town, and now it's become so popular. You have all these massively high earners that we can't afford to live in Encinitas, because you're kind of like, the people that grew up there are pushed out unless they're hyper successful. Mm-hmm. And now you have all these like hyper successful people wanting to move to Encinitas because it's that small town feel, and it's just kind of outgrown it almost.
Yeah. With anything, right? It's I could go on, and
it's a whole
on the
podcast.
development element. Like, the podcast I did with Steve was all about like land development, because that's like a niche of what we do. And it was like, I think by the end he was like, wait, what? But there's a lot of that, and I think Encinitas it's always been keep Leucadia funky, do all of that, which is, there's so much good in the grassroots element of like keeping it what it was. And I think there's a few ways that it could have been developed and or moved into the future more appropriately. That time has come and passed, and we're getting our 30s, and we're getting a lot of development, and there's positive negatives with both of it. Values are increasing. People don't want to go to the shack that's falling over on the corner anymore. They want to go to the nice building and have a nice dinner. So it's demographics of what's changing, and the money's there to do it. So
what's Leucadia's average price? Like just under $2 million.
Can you even touch anything for 2 anymore?
No, I know, right?
Probably not. Yeah, I don't know.
It's pretty wild.
It's pretty wild.
Yeah.
And that was the keep Leucadia funky. Like, it was the cool little hipster spot.
Yeah, and I think it's scarcity, right?
Yeah.
Like, there's nothing there, because you have a lot of people that have owned these properties and love where they live for an extremely long period of time. Their initial investment, like we sold one for, this has been a number of years ago, but their initial investment was like $30,000.
Yeah.
And they sold it for like $800 at that point, right? And you're still getting taxed on like $300,000 at that point. Now you're looking at their initial investment's $30,000, and they're selling it for $3 million. Like, you're basically just writing a big check to the government. There's nothing they can do. They don't have anywhere they can go.
Yeah.
And so I think that's that's going to be the problem, is that scarcity is going to continue in that area. It's death and divorce, really, to get those houses to come available, or you have the same 10% that's always already traded over, and that's the 10 that's going to change over again.
Yeah, I had some of my dad's buddies that lived on Neptune, and they could have bought their house for like $600,000 back in the day, and now those same properties are like $14-15 million homes.
Wild. Seeing the prices up there is like crazy.
Yeah,
and you have like no insurance, and you're falling into the ocean, and
right. Yeah, I know that the break wash or whatever. What do they call those? The walls?
Yeah, the seawalls that are everywhere.
Yeah, and they're like, it's like $800,000 to build.
Yeah. Well, and Coastal Commission doesn't even want you to do it. Like, you'll have to battle them to be able to do it. There are a lot of safe places on the bluff, but there's a lot of sketchy ones as well. But yeah, it's
I've
wild.
never saw the appeal to that. Like, I know that an ocean view is amazing, and like being oceanfront, like that's sought after by so many people.
Totally.
I don't know why. Like, for some reason, if I was like the very front, like, why would I want to have just blank ocean view? I'd rather be set back a little bit and have the dynamic view of like mountains and then the ocean.
Yeah. We sold a couple on Crest in the past, and that actually came up where it was like some people actually like the east side of Crest over the west side. The west side seems to bring the bigger numbers, but they're like, at night on the east side, you look out and it's like twinkly lights, and it's beautiful and it's awesome. The west side, like at night, all you're seeing is a black blob, right? Like it's like just, it's ocean wherever you go. I think the waterfront stuff, and a little bit different, is it's kind of what we were talking about before, and like the surfing element. If you're on the water, it's like going into the front yard to play with your son, right? Like you can cruise down your stairs, or you have access close. You get in the water, like if you can get in the water every day, like I think that's me. Like now, like I live by San Dieguito, and I'm like parking, like I'm good.
Drive
Parking,
there,
right?
Change into my wetsuit.
Yeah, and so it's like if you're on the bluff, like you don't feel bad about going and jumping in the middle of December for 20 minutes and
A little
freezing,
cold plunge,
and then you just pop back up, jump in a shower, and you're back to normal, right? So there's definitely a lot to it. I know on Neptune, a few people we talked to are like, like the 5th or 6th time you come out and some dude's washing his feet in your hose, you're kind of over it. And like, yeah, that's true. Like, no privacy whatsoever.
I also don't know how many, like, what's the number of how many people live on like west side of Neptune actually surf? Like, that would be a good stat to know.
That would be a decent stat to know.
Yeah.
I mean,
or live in there, live in that house.
Or
all
live
year.
in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking like $14 million homes, $10 million homes, $8 million homes. Like, it's wild.
That's crazy.
Totally.
Well, I want to go back to what you said earlier about your wife. I don't think there's been one, and this is how strong female power is in the household and everything in our lives, that there's not been one male that has sat here that's married that has not complimented their wife like that. So shout out to all the wives who put up with us in this industry. Yeah,
100%.
it's like you said, you take home a lot of emotion with you, and then. So that's where surfing, you got to go back to that whole, like, be present when you get home, like that surfing mentality. That's why I like that you surf, and that's why I asked that question earlier, is that you got to find that balance again.
Yeah.
To get that mindset.
I used to surf.
I know, you gotta go and cure yourself, get back in that ocean, man. Are you going to teach your son how to surf?
Absolutely. Yeah. We got him in swim classes now, so he's getting the hang of it. We'll get him on a board this summer and let him go. So we're
teaching your son how to surf is a hard thing, I feel.
It's so brutal.
Like, it's such a balance between you kind of just have to show him that you do it and make him want to, because if you try to push him into it, he's gonna hate it.
Just like any other kid. Yeah, you can't.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable putting him on the board with you while you surf? Are you that good of a surfer? I don't.
I mean, you're gonna probably have some level of flotation device. Something happens.
Well, no,
it's the
that's
ocean,
of course.
Yeah, I mean, he'll bob. You can go get him.
Yeah, he'll bob.
Yeah, you want to make sure.
Hey, can you grab that kid? That's
Yeah, I think. I mean, Aiden. We haven't pushed him that much. I mean, given he's 2.5.
Yeah,
but, like,
he's still young.
He's still super young, but he was always super afraid of the water.
Yeah.
Didn't want to go, didn't want to do it. Like last summer, just something clicked, and it was like 4th of July, took him down. Like, we're like, oh, you can just let him sit here. He'll be fine. He doesn't like the water. Like, kid fully clothed, just like,
Yards
like
to the water.
straight into the ocean. And ever since then, like, don't let him out of the stroller until he's got a like swim diaper on and everything else, because he's going, and he just like runs for the ocean, sits down in like whatever, his waist deep water and just literally gets hit in the face with waves like all day. I'm like, dude,
And loves it.
loves it.
Yeah.
Like the energy is awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing. Well, let's talk about you.
Yeah.
You just told me something that I would have never thought possible. You're on 75 hard. What day are you on?
72.
72. Looking towards the end. How much weight have you lost?
I've been doing it since January. I got a little into running, kind of doing some workout stuff back in like November. So since November, 34 pounds.
And so you kind of, that is all based just on how you changed your lifestyle, not necessarily that you started working out or running a ton.
Running a ton.
Okay.
Like there's a lot of things that go into it, but I think, you're working out twice a day, you're getting your body moving, you're doing stuff. It's just going to happen. You're changing your diet. You're not drinking, you're not eating sugars. Like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. So I think with that, you're going to shed weight, like no matter what. Like I think I'm doing it with a handful of other guys, which is really
I was going to say, what prompted this movement? Because 75,
It's a long time.
you're in a tough industry.
have a kid.
January, cheers, right there. But sorry, but you also have a 2-year-old.
Sorry.
Like,
Yeah,
you know what I'm
sorry,
saying?
you're out.
Sorry. Hey, cheers.
Yeah.
However, like what made you go, now is the time to do it?
It's, just a lot of different stuff. So I started probably like a year ago, training with a buddy in like, not necessarily mindset stuff, but like coaching on business, other things like that. And he's very into the mindset element. He does ultra marathons, he does breath work, he works for Breathe Degrees. Like that's his world, right? He's all about and studied it. He has a podcast, The Scotty Show. Check it out if you want to.
Is that the one you were on?
No. This is like a different thing. This is just his. And he was in the surf industry for a long time. He like really is into like helping founders, entrepreneurs, things like that succeed. So he interviews a lot of really cool people that, their health and wellness journey, which got them to where they are. And they're like light years ahead of where I am, with their stuff. And they've been doing this stuff for years. Right. And it was super cool talking to him and the different things he would say in his process and other things. And so was really doing that in the business world. And then that would kind of just dig into the personal elements, right? And like dealing with elements of your past. And, I think there's traumas, everybody has some baggage, right?
100%.
Like somewhere, and you do everything you can to either look it straight in the eye and fight it and get better, or run as far away from it and tuck it deep down and just keep moving.
We were just talking about this not too long ago. That's what's causing a lot of the chronic pain in your body is tucking away instead of finding out what the source is and dealing with it.
Yeah. And so I think a lot of that in talking with him, it was like, okay, well, like, let's take a look at yourself. Right. And like working through some of the other stuff. And, I think as I get forward, you can only do so much at one time. And I'm like, hey, let's do all this crazy stuff and see what happens. And so there's definitely elements that I want to include in my life and do as I move forward. But just this in particular, it was like December, and, my business is good. My home life is great. My wife is amazing. My kid is amazing, but there's just something there. There's just a weight of some sort. And it's like looking back, looking forward, not really living in the moment. And I'm like, dude, like you're looking towards milestones that maybe come and not enjoying the moment that you're in. Right.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, this has got to change. I got to do something. So, started reading more. I kind of like put that away. Never really got into books, stuff like that. Started doing a few other things. And the guys that I'm doing the 75 hard, long-winded to get back to this, is a few of the guys that are in it now did it last year. And they're in the mortgage industry, development industry. It was like you went from 2% rates to like 7% rates. And they're like, what the, like stuff shut down.
Yeah.
And a buddy that did it was like, dude, if I'm not doing this right now, like, I don't know where my head would be. And it resonated in the moment. And then a buddy in my office that's in that group, we have a networking group that we kind of started out of, was like, I'll do it, but this is like October, November. I'm like, I'm not doing it through Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's crazy. Like, it's not going to happen. And so he's like, January 15th. I'm like, yeah, sure, let's do it. Like, whatever. You're
Put it
throwing
on
out
the
on a
calendar.
calendar.
So was
months
it
in
one
advance.
of those? It was one of those like,
Yeah.
I'll
we'll
commit
do
to
it,
that.
right?
Yeah. As that
Far
date,
enough away.
that date creeps a lot closer. You're like, what'd I just commit to?
Well, it wasn't even that. I like forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot that you make that pack in the moment. And then I'm already doing a little bit of the mindset work, a little bit of like running and different things with him, with Scott and stuff. And then like it's like the 13th of January and my buddy's like, hey, are we doing this? And I'm like, what? Like, what are we
What are you
doing?
talking about?
And I think that's amazing, right? It's like you don't put as much pressure on it as kind of as I was saying earlier, like with the running stuff. Like you don't hype it in your mind of like, oh my God, this is happening. Like just low expectations. Let's go in and see what happens.
Yeah.
And so he's like, are we doing it? Like, let's do it. We kind of went back and forth a little bit. And I'm like, okay, final decision. Like, am I like running 6 miles or drinking a 6-pack on Sunday? Because
And it
Monday's
starts like right then.
it was like the following, it's like Friday, it's starting Monday. And so he's like, we're going. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm drinking on Sunday.
Yeah. The 6-pack.
My
Here we come.
my final beer.
Yeah. And so started it with very little expectations going into it. I think though, when you start, and that's like the transition or the journey is like, I'm like, holy hell, like I'm doing 2 workouts a day and I'm thinking it's like, and everybody you talk to that's done it or into it is like, I think now that I'm in it, you can take whatever you can make it what you want. Right.
Right.
But I'm like, I got to do a 45-minute run in the morning and I got to do like a lift at night or like a Peloton at night and it's got to go. So I kind of got in a rhythm, which I think was really good early on, where it was like run Peloton in the morning and then like a calisthenics workout and some like stretching recovery stuff at night. But it, like after like day 30, it was like really intense. And so
Intense is in like,
just
it doesn't change, right? The format is the whole way through 75.
Format the format is the format, but it's
Okay.
like your body, everything you're doing, you're like exhausted and you're just
it.
like continually doing it, but it's what you make out of it, right? And I think it was great to have the group of guys that I was doing it with because they had done it before or they'd been into it. And like if someone's like, hey, like I'm gonna go for a hike or I'm gonna go for a walk and I'm gonna do this. So it was like, oh, you don't have to be on full throttle all the time. Like you can still do your stuff. And I had a couple clients that I was with that had done it. And I was like, what was the hardest part? And no joke. They're like the water intake. And I was like,
everybody says that.
I've gotten to a point now where it's not as hard,
Right.
but no joke. The first month it was like drinking a gallon because you'd always fall behind. And so if you fall behind, you're literally waking up all night to pee, or you're like mid-meeting all day having to pee, or you're showing property and it's like every house you're going to, you're like, I'm using the bathroom.
Yeah.
Use the bathroom. Like, it was awful. Like, but I think now I've gotten to a point where I'm like, okay, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
your body's used to having that much.
Yeah, where's
liquid.
your water right now?
I know where.
It's over
Yeah.
there. I'm gonna fall. I'm already like way behind.
Oh,
So
geez.
it'll be
We'll get
fun.
you. Yeah. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
No, it's all good. But
You'll be up all night peeing.
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, so then about day 30, 35, you get kind of in a rhythm, and I had done more of the running, and so that was where I got in with like my buddy Scott that does ultra stuff and some of the guys that he does stuff with, and I was like, I'm doing a workout anyways, like I might as well go do a run.
Yeah.
And so those runs started to become like longer and longer and longer, and I'm like, yeah, I can't do that and then also do this like crazy workout at night. Like I got to have some recovery, so that my night workout became more of like a stretch and a foam roll or like something else along with it. But I think it's really like the whole thing behind 75 Hard is just the mental capacity to like engage and do the same thing over and over and over and over.
Yeah,
Right.
it's like
And over and
discipline
over.
and willpower to keep doing it.
Totally. Yeah. So it's brutal, and then the kid element adds a whole nother thing, right? So it's like I think my normal schedule, like my normal day is like wake up 5:30, 5:40, straight out the door to whatever I'm doing, whether that's to the garage for Peloton, to a run. Get back, try to be back by 7. Wake up little man. We're lucky he sleeps well.
Yeah.
Then wake up little man, get him going. Wife's kind of doing her thing, get him out the door to preschool or whatever we're doing that day, and then work all day and come home, do dinner, get him down at 7:30, 7:45, and your second workout's like 8:30 at night.
Yeah,
And then
right. Oh,
at
geez.
some point, I got to read 10 pages, and now that's becoming standing at the kitchen island, because if I read it anywhere else, I'm going to fall asleep.
Yeah. Do you think, now, biggest question, you're 3 days away. Do you think you will keep some of these habits as you move forward
Absolutely.
afterwards?
Yeah, I think that's really what I've been transitioning. So like the first half was like gnarly, just like, oh, I can do this. Let's get into it. Let's go. It was a dogfight and where it is. I think now the second half has been like, okay, well, like you've built these habits, like there's really good elements of them. Like I think it's going to be a process of like building to like, hey, like this morning at 5:40 when I really did not want to get out of bed and go for that run, you're like, hey, I've been this far, I have to do it. Like maybe that isn't as like the fire's not there for Saturday morning.
Yeah,
where you're
yeah,
like
yeah.
getting up to do it, and maybe you skip a couple days or have some rest days. But like I've really been trying to focus this last like 30 days on like transitioning it more into like a normal life.
Okay.
So that you can continue it after the fact, and like putting those key things in place, and then, you know, go from there. I think
Right.
I never really realized I would always like drink water or do stuff like that. Like I never really realized like how good it is to like, gallons may be excessive, but to get that type of water,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it makes you feel a lot better.
It's so funny. I feel like I get all of my water intake for every single day while I'm laying in bed. Going to
100%.
bed.
Totally.
That's I
100%.
same thing. I think about it, I'm like,
Yeah.
I didn't drink that much water. Maybe I should drink some water. And I'm like, I'm going to pee all night.
Yeah,
And it's like,
totally.
yeah.
Yeah. No, it's pretty wild.
Yeah, I take a water bottle to bed with me, or two,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I'll just like
Down
I
it at
drink those
night,
two
down it in
waters.
the morning.
yeah.
Got my
that's it.
intake. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all day it's like coffee and not beer, but just coffee, and then
Today.
that's really it. I don't drink
Yeah.
water during the day, so yeah, to
Yeah.
try to do a gallon every single day would be really tough.
You got to try to hit, if you can hit the first half gallon by lunch, you're kind of cruising.
Yeah, and it's good you have the bottles that like will tell you like it's like a time
Yeah.
on the side of it, so you know where
Totally.
you should be by what time.
Yeah.
Ooh,
It's hard
I
to
have
stay.
one of those.
It's
Yeah.
hard to stay on.
you've never used it.
I used it twice, and I was like, this is too much water.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
but I
awesome.
think, I mean, the other element is the book reading, right? You have to
Yeah.
read like some not necessarily self-help, but like business development, self-help elements. So
Yeah.
that's been huge. Like I love it. Like I never was a reader. I never really got
Yeah.
into it.
Yeah, same. I
You
wanna-
know, books, you listen to books on tape and that's great, but you don't maybe like digest it as much. But having the reading element's been really cool, and definitely something that I will continue with. It's crazy when you like break it down into 10 pages. You're like, I finished a book in like a month. Like,
So you're actually reading.
yeah,
You can't do an audible.
doesn't count.
Yeah, I feel
You
like
have to-
there's so much more. You know, a lot of people just will listen to books, and I think you can get a lot from listening to books, but there's so much more when you actually have to read each word and like
Yeah.
pull it
Wait,
in.
you're present.
Right.
Well,
When you're
that
reading a book, or when you're listening to it, you might be driving in your car
Yeah.
Right.
and you're thinking about what's going on with this person. Like, why are they not switching lanes? And they got their
Right.
blinker on. Like, you know what I'm saying? And then it takes away from what you're doing. But
Right. For
And it's
sure.
also like balancing your day, right? Like that's part of the process, is like figuring out habits. And I'm really bad at putting my book reading like last, like, and so it comes at night. It's
Oh,
always, and I'm
brutal.
like, there's like elements where I'm like, I read my 10 pages. Like it took me an hour and a half, because like every half a paragraph I was
You're
like
like,
dozing
ooh.
off, and then I'm back up, and I'm like, I probably took in nothing, but I made it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, there's definitely a lot of points in the process where you're like, yeah, this sucks. Like, but it's so great and sucks at the same time.
well, congratulations. You
Thank
look
you.
great.
Thank
yeah.
you.
Congratulations on all your
Yeah.
success. You got a beautiful family.
Thank
You look
you very much.
1,000% better.
Oh, perfect.
That's an
No,
inside joke
that's a joke between. Well, I got my hair cut yesterday, and my wife's
nice.
like, "Dude, you look 1,000% better." I don't think
Dude.
she said "dude," but
That's
she
awesome.
said I look 1,000%. I was like, "What did I look like before that? You got to be
Yeah,
saying this
I
to
got
me."
one.
If
I
you
got one
take yourself
tomorrow,
now and
so-
go back 1,000%.
Yeah, what did I
are-
look like? Jeez.
Yeah.
Dude, struggle.
Neanderthal.
Well,
Struggle.
congratulations on
Thank you,
everything.
guys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
thanks for
love
having
having
me.
you. We, like I said, this has gone so fast. We've been talking for about an hour and 15 minutes here.
Oh, wow.
Right? It went
You guys
fast.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I just got a few more. I always like to finish with a
Yeah,
little
absolutely.
finish the sentence.
Oh,
All
boy.
right.
Here we go.
Are you
Just
ready?
the-
Nah, you'll be
Never
good.
ready for these.
I know. Well, we'll make it easy. All right. The first one, I'll make it super easy. I love it when
Oh God.
blank.
See? Oh, you think it's
That's
easy?
a super easy one.
There's so many places you could go with this.
What came to mind right away?
I love it when I'm cruising with my family.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
there's nothing
sunny-
wrong with that.
Sunny day, taking a walk on the rail trail. That's a pretty epic day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your go-to.
That's pretty much where we go to with.
What is it,
with
a
my
trail?
son. Yeah, Cardiff. They did a trail from like Swami's down to, like the Kook basically.
Yeah.
So you can kind of cruise around, and Aiden digs it, and
I thought
get
kook
to-
was a bad word.
well, not there's a statue. They call it the Cardiff Kook.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that was like a wipeout of like
Yeah,
or
it's-
like a new surfer.
Well, there's an Instagram profile called the Kook of the Day.
Kook of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or kook slams.
You see guys
Yeah.
like carrying their surfboard and the fins are put on backward.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so me.
They got
the
their wetsuit on
wetsuit
at Walmart.
Right.
With
There
There's
you go.
zippers in
Yeah,
front.
yeah.
for everyone, the zipper goes in the back.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
back. That's why there's that long stretch of
Yeah.
material. Well, that's cool. What do you? I love it when.
I love it when, like on a weekend, you wake up and you have a plan or something set for the day, and it's like turns out to be a good day, and you're like excited to do that thing.
Yeah.
That I love, like having something to do, and you're about to go do it. I love that feeling before it, and like you're just getting set up for it.
Yeah,
Totally.
that's cool. No, my son is getting into baseball, and he never was like, let's practice. And you get home from work. It sucks because when you have kids and you have a full-time job and you're working all the time, you're just like.
Totally.
So easy, like you said earlier, put them on the iPad or let them play the games. Mine are 7 and 13 now, so they're pretty automatic. But the last like 3 days, he's like, "Let's go play catch." And yesterday, I was like, I just got home. I just want to like get off my feet for a second, and I was like, nope, because these days will go.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like
yeah.
it's a trip. I was out. I had to go check on a property last night. It was like late, and I was driving home, and it was like country music was on, and it was this is the new song, and it's like I forget the exact
You
words,
Can't?
but it was like it was like I'm thankful for I don't know. I gotta find it. It's like I'm a lucky man for the things I take for granted.
Yeah,
Like it's like
Oh,
you
yeah,
come.
I
I think it's a newer one, but it's like you come home and it's like your kid wants to play ball, and you're like, nah. Like wife wants to hang. You're like, my wife actually wants to hang out with me. Like
Yeah.
this is rad.
yeah, right.
And so it's interesting because you like get so caught up in life. Like the moment listening to that song, I was like, oh, like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's technology is great, and I hate going back to all this, but like sometimes that's the habit I want to break. I'm trying to go on this whole like mental path too, like try
Yeah.
to break my habits, and maybe I should do 75 hard so I can like figure out how to do it.
I'll do it with you.
Is like getting
to
on.
that.
You get home and you're like, I just want to lay down, and then you start getting on your phone. You just was that like just
Scrolling
scroll,
through it,
just
yeah,
the
yeah.
zombie scroll, and
Yeah.
it's like, why am I doing this? These people and all this stuff on this
Yeah.
phone and this social media has no impact on my life.
Yeah,
Like, go out and play ball with your kid.
totally.
Go ride a bike with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like, I
yeah.
think we're losing that as a society of like
So-
tracking where our kids are.
Yeah, I just for my reading thing, I just finished the Jay Shetty, Live Like a Monk, or Think Like a Monk. I
Yeah.
think that's what it is. Like, read the book. Like, it's rad. It's super cool in that aspect of like just bringing it back, right? Like
Yeah.
just ignoring the noise, living in the presence. Like it's, I understand like the monk element, like all of that. Like my mom's like, you want to think like a monk? I'm like, no, like it's so much more than that. It's like
Yeah,
it's so
yeah.
much deeper.
Hey, buddy,
Like,
shave your head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Join
don't
the
say
club.
that. No, but I get it. It's not technology is going nowhere.
Yeah.
It's only advancing.
Totally.
And we have to still be in front of it for our careers and for like our kids still
Yeah.
have to be in front of it because they're going to see some crazy stuff with technology.
Totally.
However, the balance is getting so obstructed like the other way. It needs to find its medium still. And I think it starts with us as parents. We get into this
100%.
complacent part where we're just like, oh, I want to lay down. And you start scrolling. What do you think they want to start doing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I love it when I get to play baseball with my son.
Epic.
Playing catch, and it's funny because I just throw the ball back and forth. I'm like,
Yeah.
this is the most basic
Totally.
thing in life, but how much like joy
Yeah.
you get out, and you'll
So-
see it. Like both of you
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
will see. You guys both have boys that will,
Yeah.
or even girls. I mean, girls. It's more girls because I coach girls volleyball just one of the time. that we need more girls to learn how to throw early, but
Totally.
it
You know how
is-
many times I've hit my son in the face with a football? Can't
Right?
catch it.
Yeah.
I'm in that phase where I'm just like, you got to catch the ball, and he catches it with his face.
Yeah. And you're just not like you're like
That
you're like
hurt.
used to playing with buddies and you just whip it and you're like, oh, yeah, that wasn't a good call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Poor
Well,
guy.
Yeah. You probably think it's funny too.
At the first few times I do, and I'm like, then I start getting like frustrated. I'm like, you got to put your hands up, because he's in that phase where he just closes his eyes as soon as it takes flight, and it's just like wham,
It's
right
like,
in his face.
been here before.
Yeah.
What's coming?
Well, it's funny because, playing catch with my kid, it's like he plays video games. It's like, hey, man, that's your joystick right there. Like, go and
Right.
get that thing on that screen. like,
grab
that's
it, yeah.
the, he's like, oh. Like, yeah, like how
Yeah.
dumb is that? But yeah, you got to kind of tell him how to do it.
Eye on the ball.
Eye on the
Eye on the
ball.
ball.
All right. I admire people who,
Because I'm trying to do it. I admire people that live in the moment.
yeah.
Like, that can separate like from everything, right? And it's just like it's there. People that are in that way like have put a lot of work to get there. It's not. It's very difficult to compartmentalize, and that's maybe not the right word because I think that has like a negative connotation of like
Right.
putting stuff away. But like being able to like turn off technology, like enjoy what is happening in that time in our day and age. Like I think before you could do that a lot more, but it's difficult now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be intentional.
100%.
I mean, as we've been sitting here, his phone's ringing, my phone's ringing.
Yeah.
Yours is probably
I threw it on the ground over here.
chucked it against the wall.
I'm the worst with
It's
my phone.
just constantly trying to get our attention.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And there's probably some important stuff on there, but
They can wait for just a little bit longer.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, it was crazy because back in the day, you had to wait. You had to be present. You had to run to the TV screen to go see that first aired show ever.
Right?
Now you don't have to wait for anything.
No, all the time.
It's yeah.
And it whether that's good or bad information.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
there's so much information.
So much
Or
information.
there's that funny joke. It's like now we have Amazon Prime, which you can get something delivered sometimes
Same
that
day.
day.
Yeah,
or to
yeah.
your
It's
house.
wild.
And I had to order something off of it that wouldn't be on Amazon, and I ordered it, and it's like, oh, it'll be there in 4 weeks. I was like, cancel my order? Absolutely not.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is
I want it
ridiculous.
now.
Yeah, when's
to go to a
Amazon now
store?
coming out? Like, I want to push order and ding, 3D
Yeah.
print it or something in my
Totally.
head.
It's Americans, man.
It's ridiculous.
Got to be present.
terrible.
All right. We'll just do a couple more here. The one thing I will never regret is,
Having a kid?
yeah.
I think it's pretty easy.
Now, it's funny you say that because I look at your Instagram before you got here, and
Yeah.
it's like your
There's no
beautiful
work on there
dog
anymore.
Ella, though.
Yeah, yeah.
Like Ella was
Yeah.
like the forefront of like your
Oh, yeah.
your whole human being or your whole dog
100%,
that was
yeah, yeah.
like everything to you.
Yeah.
She even has an Instagram page, people.
She does.
But then you have this human being that you just, I can't even explain it.
She's still pretty damn spoiled.
I know. I believe that. I believe that. But it's true. And I bet you,
Yeah.
okay, you're a single, one kid.
Yeah.
Are you going to be having another kid?
As far as I'm aware, yes.
Nice.
As far as I was told, yes, I am.
I just work here.
But it was crazy. And I don't know about you, Nate, but for me, I looked at my first child. I'm like, wait a minute. How can I have another kid that I love? Like, what? I don't have enough. Do I have enough love in my body to spread it to another human being?
Yeah.
Like, that first kid,
Totally.
you know,
yeah,
you're
no,
gonna go
totally
through that
good.
same thought.
Yeah.
You're gonna be like, why would I have another kid? Like, my whole life is this
Yeah,
person.
Right.
Aiden become the dog. Just kidding.
No, not at
Yes,
all.
not at all. We were just talking about that because the first kid gets, because it went from Ella to Aiden, and it's
Yeah.
like all pictures of Aiden. And then when you have your
totally.
second kid, it's still like there's no pictures of
Pictures
your
of
second
second
kid.
kid.
Yeah, you forget.
Yeah.
You're like, we talked
Just
about it too.
over it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you've
yeah.
already went through everything else, but
Totally.
But that's not unique, right? To just second kid, because I have my son is 4, and then we had my daughter.
Yeah.
And there's such a different dynamic, but I still don't post about her.
Totally.
It's just like, it's like too much work.
dude,
Right,
it
it's a
goes
lot.
back to when I was a kid that there are photo albums of my sister to where I could not find any of myself that my sister would tell me I was adopted.
You're like, I was alive.
Like, well, I was like, yeah,
there.
when did I become part of this family?
Yeah.
And she just would be like, you're adopted. Sorry, that's why there's no photo albums of you. And it was a running joke. I'm like, but it is. It's just, I get
Yeah.
it now.
Totally.
And it's so much easier to take a picture of a kid now, but I don't
Right,
know why.
yeah.
Yeah.
overwhelming. One-on-one's a lot harder
Yeah.
than or two-on-one's a lot easier than two-on-two.
You just don't want to go beyond 2, in my opinion.
I've heard it gets easier. Third is like
No, ask his brother.
No, ask.
that's like everyone telling you like having a kid is easy. It's like only hard at the beginning. It gets easier, and you're like, wait, what? Like it's just hard.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely
No,
not. The
you're
things you have
third.
to think of now from a 13-year-old female, you're like, it does not get easy. I'm just going to let you know that right now.
Yeah, maybe from 3 to 4, you're just like, fuck it. I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
care
done.
anymore.
I'm
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Surviving at this point.
Yeah.
All right, last question. Right now is the perfect time to.
Buy a house.
No, you're not kidding. Buy a house, people. Get out there and do your work and find the right agents. Find the Kyle out there. By the way, your name is awesome. That's Murph. Dude, Kyle Murphy. Having that last name, you can put any name in front of it and just be like
Totally
pretty badass.
Yeah.
So
True.
right now, perfect time to.
Well, debatable. If his parents named him Harry.
Harry Murphy?
Murph.
Harry Murphy? Well, don't say
You can't
Murph.
really put in. Harry
can
doesn't
make
really
it-
work with anything these days.
That's true.
That's true.
That's true. You could come up with some epic stuff.
There's definitely some old school names you can't put in front of Murphy.
Yeah.
Earl Murphy?
true.
Yeah,
I mean, you
don't
wouldn't
know.
want to be a Richard Murphy.
Dick Murphy.
Dick Murphy? I
Dick
would
Murphy.
love that.
That's epic.
That's a fucking spy right there.
Yeah.
For sure
that's
need a
true.
mustache.
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
If your name was
yeah,
Dick
yeah.
Murphy,
You
got
definitely
a
need
mustache
to
for
be
sure.
in law enforcement and have a mustache.
Yeah.
Well, before this podcast gets out of name further out of hand, Kyle, really quick, man, what's next for you? What's next for the family? Are you building? Are you like, I know you're going on a trip in a week, but
I mean, I think continue the personal growth element for myself, the journey of that, just to, I think prioritizing the family, prioritizing all of that. The business, absolutely, continuing to grow. I think, maybe another year, couple years of mom there, and then, kind of see where we go from there, bringing some new help on a few other things. So definitely, you got to always grow. What's the Ryan Shurhan? Growing always and always.
Yeah, right.
Always growing and always, whatever that is. But so doing that, definitely, short-term family, taking our son to meet the family in Brazil for the first time. So
That'll be rad.
That's gonna be cool.
Give me your hopes for the flights.
For
That should be
traveling,
fun.
yeah.
But,
Fingers crossed.
yeah, we're lucky. He's a good dude.
Benadryl.
He's super easy. Yeah, right.
yeah.
No, but he's
That'll be fine.
he's an easy kid. Like we're really stoked. That's where I'm like, should we do this?
Should we do it
too?
again? Yeah, you should, of course. You got a beautiful
100%.
family, so for sure you should.
I'd say start now. I mean,
Yeah, hey, this trip, you got family there,
I
get
think
out
that's
little.
a really good age gap. A 3-year-old and a newborn.
Totally.
Yeah, that is a good gap.
You don't want to get too far out.
So we're gonna do this again in like 9 months.
Yep, 100%. Let's see where you're at.
Oh yeah.
Well, I appreciate when you look in this camera right here. Let everybody know
Absolutely.
where they can find you.
Yeah. So Kyle Murphy, co banker, Encinitas. Kyle Murphy Real Estate on Instagram. Give me a call 760-420-6581. Kyle at dirtrealtor.com if you want to just shoot an email and not have that phone call. So give me a
Awesome.
shout.
Awesome, man. Well, I appreciate
on.
you coming all the way down here and rescheduling with us. I know you had something with the family today, but coming down here and meeting with us. Anybody who's looking for the What's Next podcast in this episode, go ahead to go onto YouTube for the full video. We're on all the streaming platforms. We're on Instagram. Get notified by, subscribing and letting us know what you'd like to see next. But Nate, thanks again, brother.
Of course.
You always bring the best guests.
As always.
Can't wait to see
Who's
what's
next?
Yeah,
Who's
who's
next?
next?
Who's in
or
the hot
what's
seat
next?
next?
Yeah,
I know.
what's next? Well, I appreciate you guys. Thanks again.
Absolutely.